Da-na-na-na-na-na. 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 Na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. 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 Yes, so I am finally doing the X-Men Q&A. Sorry this took a while, but this was 47, nearly 50 questions. Well, 50 people asking about 3 questions each. I can't do the math in my head right now, but let's just say it was a lot of goddamn questions. So, as always, I want to thank everybody for sending in questions. I was really excited to see this turnout. I was really glad to see, obviously it's X-Men, and, I know a lot of the X-Men are going through some tough times or good times, depending on how you look at things. So I'm really glad this got a lot of, this Q&A got a lot of attention. So, once again, I want to thank everybody who sent in questions, and yeah, as always, if I didn't answer someone's question, that usually means that YouTube was being a jerk and had it either marked as spam or have it not show up on the list at all. So I do apologize in advance for that. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get on with the X-Men Q&A, starting off with Zach the Thunder King, who asks, who is your least favorite X-Men? You said yours is Cyclops. I don't hate Cyclops. I honestly don't. There was a time when I did, but my good friend Shades at Night, the giant X-Men fan / gigantic Cyclops fan, really helped me understand, oh yeah, Cyclops is awesome! And if anyone out there doesn't like Cyclops, to each his own. I personally have, grown to love the character. So but if you were to ask me what my least favorite X-Men was, I don't know, I don't really have one. I don't really have a least favorite X-Men, honestly. I don't. Anyway, so thank you for that question. Moving on now to your second one, which is, which X-Men do you want to see in the movie franchise? You said you wanted Cannonball. I personally would like to see, there's a few. I'd like to see Danger. I'd like to see, the Danger Room. Yeah, that's the one thing I want to see, the Danger Room. More of, actually. I want to see more of the Danger Room. And actually, since we saw it in X-Men 3, I don't know if, it's not in continuity anymore, but who knows. I'd like to see, the Conscious of the Danger Room, the Machine Danger show up. I would like to see the, the Morlocks. I'd like to, a better version of them. But in terms of, X-Men, I'd like to see Rachel Summers. I'd like to see Rachel Summers and Cable. I'd like to see, Cable and Rachel. Those two characters. So, yeah. Anyway, so, thank you for that. Oh wait, you got one more question. Favorite moments in X-Men cartoons? I think one of my favorite moments is when Wolverine's attacking that Hellfire Club member, and he's parroting the scene from Dirty Harry. I think that's just an awesome scene. Wolverine scenes in the cartoons in general, honestly. So yeah, thank you for those questions, Zach. Moving on now to Adhavan Rajasham, who asks, how would you rank the X-Men TV shows? 90s cartoon top, second place to Evolution, third place to Wolverine and the X-Men, although I don't hate Wolverine and the X-Men, but when you look at the other two cartoons, it's just kind of like, yeah, you're good, but those two kind of surpassed you. And at the bottom, Pride of the X-Men, even though that was just a pilot. But yeah, I know it's kind of a predictable answer, but honestly, the 90s X-Men cartoon had everything to it, so, yeah. Second question: if you were to pick one group character to write your own comic, who would you write your own comic for? Who would you pick? I guess what group I'd like to write? Maybe do some cool stuff with X Factor. I don't know, X Factor, or maybe Alpha Flight, something like that, or X Force. Anyway, your third question is, if Marvel ever got the movie rights back to X-Men, how would you reintroduce them back in the cinematic universe? I don't think... It'd be kind of difficult now, because they're doing the whole Inhumans thing right now, and it's basically the same thing what they're doing with X-Men, so it'd be kind of difficult. I know I've said my grievances against, Fantastic Four and Fox, but honestly, the direction they're now going in with X-Men, I think is a lot more handled better. I think Fox should at least keep X-Men. Send back Fantastic Four, keep X-Men. But if they were ever reintroduced, I would have to say, maybe have it that it's spontaneous evolution. Something like, it's not caused by the Terrigen Mist, it's just something that's happening now, because reasons. I don't know. Anyway, so think of those questions. Athavan, moving on now to Major Badass, who asks, would you be anti-mutant if they were real, and if no one, you would associate yourself with anyone who is? I guess he's asking, would I be I wouldn't be anti-mutant. It's the same thing as, like, this is that, they didn't ask to be, they didn't ask to have these powers. You have to understand that. That these guys, some of them use their powers wrongly, and some of them use them good. It's the same thing of, like, someone owning, the same I'm trying to put this in a perspective here. Some people use their powers, obviously, yes, some mutants use their powers for evil. Well, some people with a gun do the same thing. Some people who have guns use them for evil purposes. Well, you have other people who use their guns for good. Obviously, policemen and whatnot. And, hunters who actually go out and hunt for food and not, turkey shoot an animal. So, that's how I see it, is that these people didn't ask for their powers. It's just depending on the person who who wields that power. So no, I wouldn't be I don't think I would be anti-mutant. Because, these people didn't ask for their powers. And I always found it kind of interesting, and maybe I don't know if I got a question like this or not. I think I did, and I'll go more into it. But I've always found it interesting that, America and the Marvel Comics, when they were, saying how free they were, but they were doing the exact same things the Nazis were doing to mutants, that the Nazis were doing to, different races, and the people of America were just fine because, oh, they're mutants, they're not really human. I don't know, it just seems like a double standard, but then again, you could say that about a lot of things here. Anyway, that made me think. What are you doing, Major Badass? Why are you making me think? And your second question is, what would the luckiest mutant power an X-Men could ever have? I don't know. I don't know. Luckiest mutant power? Women automatic. A mutant has the ability to, I don't know, gold semen, I don't know. He can squirt gold semen, I don't know. Third question. Do you think it would be cool if they found a way to write in mutant animals, see the X-Men rescue them, or use them like a mutant cow or something like? I don't know. He's basically asking what it'd be like if instead of humans mutating, it's animals as well. I don't know. I think they would have done something like that, but knowing someone like Aaron or Remender, that seems like that idea Remender or even Morrison would come up with. So maybe they'll do that sometime in the future. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for those questions, Major Badass. Moving on now to Green Arrow Hunter, who asks, how would you write an X-Men TMNT crossover? Okay, how would I write an X-Men TMNT crossover? I think what I would like to do is maybe have it that Baxter Stockman is put on he's like asked to do a new Sentinel program by one of the Trasks, and he secretly uses them to hunt down X-Men. There you go. I mean, excuse me, the Ninja Turtles, yeah. So that's all I got. Second question. Do you think Omega Red should be the villain for Wolverine 3? I think he should be. I think, yeah, we've kind of used everybody else. But I think it would be cool if he was one of the villains. Maybe, maybe you can do multiple villains and, do Cyber, but I think if you were going to go with just one singular villain, and I would be okay with multiple villains, like one guy and then all the other characters are behind him. I think I'd be okay with that. But actually, I think it would be interesting, now that I think about it, if you did have Omega Red as the villain in the movie, but actually have, like, Daken be the one pulling the strings. Yeah, and you got a question. Should X-23 and Daken appear in a future X-Men movie? Yeah, I think X-23 and Daken should. Daken for the, main Wolverine villain, and X-23 following suit. Anyway, so, there you go. So think of those questions, Green Arrow. Moving on now to Robert Larson, who asks, what are some of your favorite X-Men couples? Favorite X-Men couples? Cyclops and Jean, always love that, and I even like Cyclops and Emma. Thank you, Astonishing X-Men. Kitty and Colossus. I actually kind of dig Wolverine and Storm, honestly. As much as I liked, Storm with Black Panther. I kind of, thanks to the '90s cartoon, I kind of dug her, Logan and Aurora being a couple as well. Gambit and Rogue, and Wolverine and Mariko. There you go. What is your favorite version of Toad? My favorite version of Toad would be X-Men Evolution Toad. He just had some of the best jokes, and he was just so freaking gross. Alright. The best X-23 story. My favorite X-23 story would have to be the one from the first volume from the Marjorie Liu run. I think I'm saying her name right. I thought that was pretty good. Anyway, so, moving on now to... Thank you for those questions, Robert. Moving on now to King Nazuru. If Toa, the time-traveling sister of Deborah, and her husband, creation Mira, time-traveled to gather power of the X-Men, which one do you think they would take in order to get, for Toa to get revenge on Majin Buu? Just since he's a mutant but not an X-Men, just steal the power of Franklin Richards. You're fine. Second question: what do you think would happen if Wolverine had tried having a conversation with Evie-Bot? Probably put his claws through something. Third question: would you support the idea of Wolverine and Mystique married with children? I don't know. They're just kind of Wolverine and Mystique. They've had relations in the past before, and it always kind of ended in blood and gore. So I don't think this would be any different. So thank you for those questions, King. Moving on now to Mr. Marvel Fan 101, and he asks, "What was your opinion on the Kitty Pryde and Peter Parker relationship from Ultimate? Would you like to see them come back in some capacity?" I liked it just fine. I thought Kitty and Peter in the Ultimate Universe had a pretty good relationship. Personally, I kind of pulled more for Mary Jane because OTP right there. Much love. But no, I liked Kitty and Peter relationship. I thought they had a lot of chemistry together. And I would like to see it, maybe come back in the Ultimate Spider... I can't finish that sentence. Oh, that's hilarious. Marvel giving love to other mutants outside of Wolverine and the X-Men in the Spider-Man cartoon. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I'm too good. I don't think we'll ever see it again, bottom line. Sadly, because again, I think Peter and Kitty did have some cool, what's the word? Chemistry, that's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, thank you for that question. So moving on now to Action Fan 19, who asks, what are your feelings towards Angel being able to change between his normal form and Archangel self? I think it's pretty cool. I thought granted, I would have thought it would be pretty gimmicky, but honestly, Remender, when he did it, he made it like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing, and I was like, okay, that's a cool way to go, because now he's really fighting that kind of, he's kind of dealing with what Banner has to deal with on a daily basis. So I thought that was pretty cool. Second question, what are your ideal 5-person roster for an X-Men group? Honestly, for a 5-person X-Men group, outside of the original 5 X-Men right here, I would have to say Wolverine, Cyclops, Rogue, Storm, and Colossus. There you go. That would be my ideal 5-person X-Men team. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Action Fan. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler, and he asks, what would the X-Men think of the Darkstalkers? Well, they've technically met in the Marvel vs. Capcom games, so yeah, they've met before, but like one-on-one, I think the best team-up would be John Talbane and Wolverine. That would be awesome to see. Second question. You find yourself at the X-Mansion, and Rogue is flirting with you and giving you the bedroom eyes. Would you resist temptation or try to sleep with her and wind up in a coma for the rest of your life? I don't know. Does a condom work with her? I don't know. We'll have to explore that. Third question. Fuck, marry, kill, Storm, Mystique, or Jean Grey? Mary Jean. I don't want to kill Storm, so. But I don't like. With Mystique, it's like variety. Okay, Mary Jean. Bang.